Hello, hello, and welcome once again. J76NY here, and we are up to episode number 13 of our For the People playthrough on Suzerain. For those of you watching on YouTube, if you are here in the chat on Twitch, head on over to YouTube. I've got the entire story from day one. Right now, the last episode, we decided that the only course of action was to maintain the current tax rates, which I'm sure I will hear about from Walter Tusk at some point in the future. We did incur another strike on our budget, so we were down to -3. Our economy dropped by 1 bar, so our economy is in the tank, our budget's in the tank. We've got the threat of cross-border incursions to deal with the BFF terrorist activity, and now we have to inspect some schools. So we are going to go to Rayne and inspect the Tauren Hill School, which recently got pretty good review from the news. What was it, the Lockhaven Times? There, yeah, Tauren Hill School wins awards. So they did pretty good. Let's see what that's all about. As part of the planned program, we arrived in Rayne to visit a middle school. The prestigious Tauren Hill School was situated close to the suburbs just outside the city center. The building was flanked by 2 hills, each beautifully dotted with shrubs and flowers. Lucian, Kiera, and I got out of our cars and met at the entrance. Our presence had not gone unnoticed. Apart from our guards, there were at least 10 reporters following us around. "That must be the principal right this way, sir." The principal was a man of short stature with a bushy mustache and a pair of glasses, but was stopped by the security guards as he approached us. Yep, I changed that. They started patting him down and searching him. That won't be necessary, just let him through. "Mr. President, such an honor to meet you." Shake his hand and smile for the cameras. "Welcome to our humble school. Sorry about the security guards. It's a necessity, standard procedure. It's good to be here. Let's begin. It's good to be here." "Excellent. You must be Mr. Galad. It's a pleasure to meet you. And Miss Walda. So good of you to come all the way out here." "Thank you." At the entrance, the school's motto was inscribed on the wall in giant letters. Yep, all that. "Education is the premise of progress in all societies, in all families." Okay, makes sense. We walked through the gates. There were many students lined up in front of the stairs to the main building. The school band started to play as we entered. Presidential visit is always a big affair for these middle schoolers. All of the students immediately snapped to attention and turned to me. "Looks more like a military institution than a school." Exactly. That's what we pride ourselves on. Discipline has the utmost importance in our schools. Some discipline never hurt anyone, very good, or we need more educated people, not soldiers. Discipline never hurt anyone. Kiera bristled. "Up to a point, perhaps. Look at these kids. I can assure you that our students are very well educated. In fact, our school is one of the top 10 middle schools in the entirety of Sordland. Now we will watch the students take their daily student oath." A boy and a girl went up to the stage and grabbed their microphones. The students turned to them. "I am a sword. My strength lies in my blood. I will respect our honorable elders. I will protect the young. My life belongs to Sordland now, and it will belong to it forever." Very patriotic. "I will always follow the guiding light of Colonel Sol in the Great Swords. E Morgana Westcor Vectern Sisda." Clap loudly, nod at the kids, or do nothing. I'll just nod at them. And words to remember. What? No one even remembers it after they graduate. If you wish to follow me, we will take a look at one of our classrooms. Through the hallways, we made our way to classroom 7A. As soon as I entered, the whole classroom rose up and snapped to attention. Sit down, please. At ease. That could be a military academy. Students sat down. The same boy and girl walked up to us. These are our top students and our top class. This here is my son. The boy came before me and saluted me like a military officer's. Tell Mr. President what you want to be. Mr. President, I want to be a general, sir. Okay. I'm ready to sacrifice myself for my country and you, sir. This is nonsense. What are you teaching these students? Good. You will make a fine soldier in the future. At ease, General. I will do whatever I can not to let that happen. Okay. Thank you, sir. The principal squeezed his son's shoulders, and the boy looked up and smiled to his father. He patted him on the back and sent him off to his seat. The cameras flashed. This is simply ridiculous. You are raising soldiers here, not students. I am so sorry. I will immediately perform disciplinary actions. On who? Yourself? Self-flagellation? What is this, Crusader Kings? How about you, young lady? What do you think about this? She is our top student in this school. Her excellent grades are to... I didn't ask you! She bent down and gently addressed the young student. What do you think about your school, just between us girls? Uh-oh. Way to put her in a uncomfortable spot there, Kiera. I'm sick of having to knit and sew while the boys learn science and chemistry. I'm smarter than all of them. Why do I have to take these stupid handcraft classes? Shh! Don't you know who you were talking? Shut up! Let her speak. Wow, this is turning into a pretty contentious visit to a school. What the hell? Kira's presence had emboldened the girl. She went on. My math and reading scores are the best in the school, but they won't let me take the classes I want just because I'm a girl. I want to be a scientist, not some soldier's wife. Okay. I think I'm going to play this one in the mindset of, let's make my wife proud. You heard her, Mr. Principal. You will make the necessary changes at once. But knitting and sewing are important skills to have for women. Probably not the best thing to say. We need more people like you in this country. I applaud your determination. There. Neutral. We need more than words. We need action. Concrete action. We need to protect girls like this. The cameras flashed once again. I looked around the classroom and saw a large portrait of Colonel Soul. Take that down. Okay, we'll go with take that down. But sir, that's a portrait of Colonel Soul. We can't just take it down. Sure you can. We'll make Lucian do it. There you go. Lucian took the frame down and gave it to the principal. Even the reporters looked confused for a minute before taking many photos of the portrait being taken down. Kira was smiling, and when she realized I was looking at her, she nodded. Well then, unfortunately we are almost out of time. We have other meetings to attend to today. Wow. Okay, thank you for the warm welcome. Mr. President, Lucian, please go ahead. I would like to speak with the girl alone. Thank you for the tour. Thank you for the visit. Come on, class. 1, 2. All the students in the class yelled, but the boy whom I met was the loudest. Hey, Morgana, West Court. Vector and Sista. There we go. Make him happy. Well, that was interesting. Codex entry updated. Dennis Stoller. What's that all about? Turn 4. Except Monica. I maintain taxes for large corporations. Who is Dennis Stoller? Codex. Here we go. How do I get to Dennis Stoller? Home. Search. Party leaders. Let's see here. Dennis Stoller. Dennis Stoller is a Sordish political theorist, politician, and former leader of the Communist Party of Sordland. Okay. Let's read the newspapers. The president visits school in Rayne. A middle school in Rayne received a special visit from President Rayne and Minister of Education Mrs. Walda. Students and staff at Tauren Hill School, one of the 5 most prestigious schools in East Sordland, welcomed the special visitors on Thursday morning. President Rayne had expressed his wish to visit the successful Tauren Hill School and spend the morning talking with staff and students, and we caused an uproar. Throughout the visit, Tauren Hill is delighted to have an opportunity to represent the fantastic, blah, blah, blah. Assembly talks about prayer language. Kizaru Keebner, leader of the MNFP, has proposed the Sordish Prayer Language Act to the Assembly. Why? The proposed bill aims to standardize the language of prayer to Sordish in the entire Sordland. Prayer language has always been a controversial topic, as most of the religious ceremonies in the Bergia region, where mostly of the Blutish population resides, conduct their prayers in Blutish. Okay. Moving on to the Lockhaven Times. Oh, this would probably be why the Codex was updated. Dennis Stoller, the leader of the Communist Party of Sordland, has been detained along with at least 10 other members because of their reluctance to give testimony for crimes linked to terrorist propaganda. Police raided the whole sword home of leader Ster early on Friday. Ster, a charismatic leader known as the Sordish Hegel by some admirers, had been targeted by several earlier investigations, but this is the first time that he has been detained. Whole Sword accuses the CPS's politicians of using the Red Youth organization to create terror and acting to further the interest of the Malianovistic administration of United Cantana. Members of Assembly arrested. This guy from the National Front Party was arrested on Tuesday morning for supporting Young Swords organization and aiding terrorism. So this is the results of me banning those 2 youth groups. Now I'm getting members of the Assembly arrested for supporting them. See what the radical has to say about that. President Rayne, the USB, and the Colonel. On Friday morning, President Rayne and Education Minister Walda visited a middle school in Rayne. Known to be a proudly Solist establishment, Tauren Hill School is one of the most popular middle schools in Sordland. During the visit, the president was seen speaking with the pupils and school staff before he ordered the removal of Tarkensol's portrait from the building. The reasoning behind this controversial and brave move still stands as an unknown, but it will surely create problems for President Rayne with his own party. Whoops! This event might have very well been just for show, or a sign that there are widening cracks between President Rayne and the USP. More so the old guard. I want to move Sordland forward, not have it lingering in the past, and Tarkensol is part of the past. So let's move past the past. Like how I played those words out right there. Alright, well that's the news for the day. Briefing on the proposed education reforms. Okay. We're still there. Education is the name of the game today for this episode, apparently. We were still in Rayne, staying at a modest guest house for state employees. Kiera set up a meeting with me and Lucian to go over her plans for education reform after our school visit. Lucian was seated across from me at the table, going through documents. Kiera entered the room. After the visit yesterday, I couldn't even sleep thinking about that little boy and girl. I've never been more sure of my intentions to reform our education system. Lucian took off his reading glasses and put it on the table. Education reform is necessary, and I don't see what's wrong with our education system. Education reform is necessary if we are going to move forward. Those students have to repeat that same soulless propaganda every single day. They are being brainwashed at an age when their minds need to be free. On top of that, young girls are denied the same opportunity as boys. They're forced into the role of housewife before they even reach puberty. Nothing changed since I went to school. Women like me, Lilius, Nia, even your wife, we had to study twice as hard to receive the same university education that you and Lucian took for granted. Is that the kind of country you want your daughter to grow up in? Mr. President, we need to bring change. We need to free the minds of these young people. They are our future. What do we need to do for education reform? We need to keep politics out of the curriculum, which I absolutely agree with. So, Sol should only be viewed as a historical figure. Children shouldn't have to repeat his name every day. This is actively poisoning young, bright minds. Instead of thinking for themselves, they're learning to take things at face value. We also need to ensure boys and girls receive the same instruction. Handcrafts like knitting and sewing should be taught to both sexes, or not at all. Sordland's youth must be technically skilled and capable for the next decade. She's making some very good points. That wouldn't be possible with the amount of nationalistic indoctrination and narrow-minded thinking found in schools today. Either we raise a generation ready for the challenges of the future or not. What will it be, Mr. President? Let's see. What do you think, Lucian? As much as I respect Colonel Sol, his time has passed. Now is our time. I do think this might be the first step of a larger plan. Me too. Let's reform the education system. You will not regret it. I will get to work immediately. Now that the decision's made, let's move on. Very well. Kira skimmed over her documents before continuing. After the budget increase, the ministry... There we go, there's where our money went. Education. After the budget increase, the ministry quickly began formulating plans on how to effectively use the money. But before moving forward, the question of keeping education fully state-funded or allowing for new private schools remains open. What's the benefits of private schools? I've made my opinion clear. I'm against it. But it would give us additional funds for education while increasing competition. It would support our overall economic strategy of promoting a market economy. A few minutes of deliberation passed. We have enough money to improve education in Sordland. We do not need to complicate things further with a privatization incentive. So what's your decision? Initiate privatization to draw more funds. This should allow competition and quality. Keep education solely a matter of the state. We need to prevent interference from private interests. Well, what about private interference from the state? We're arguing against politicizing schools. So we're going to go with the privatization route. Will do. That should be it for now. I will get back to work and report back later. This has been a very productive day. I will be returning to Wholesword. Thank you for your time. We dispersed after spending nearly the entire day together. I took a moment simply to breathe the fresh evening air of Laren. I felt calmer here somehow, but I would have to return to the chaos of Wholesword soon enough. Alrighty. Lockhaven Times. Keebner. Rayne is making a mistake. Head of Sordland's second opposition party, the NFP, National Front Party, Kisaro Keebner, has said President Rayne will not be able to keep ruling the country without addressing policies that have negatively affected our security, culture, and economy. He blamed President Rayne for not being open to any discussion about proper reforms. Keebner also criticized PFJP leader Franz Richter for supporting President Rayne. NFP cannot be part of this nonsensical collaboration. Let's take a look here, see what we can find. Political overview. Factions, the old guard, legislation. Here we go. Okay, the USP has 130 seats. That's our party. So we're not making any friends in our own party by doing all this. Let's go back to this here. Administration announces education privatization. The Minister of Education has recently announced the upcoming changes to the education system. Administration has decided to follow through with the promotion of the market economy and started the privatization of education. There was a mixed response where one side is believed that the change will only serve the oligarchs behind the corporations, and the other side defending that this will increase the quality of education. We will see which side is right and the effects of this decision in the long term. Alright. Anything happening except for that meeting? Oh, here we go. What's this? Read the report from Rumburg. Queen Beatrice Livingston calls Sordland a threat to world peace. Well, that's not good. Queen Beatrice Livingston appeared on TV to call Sordland not just a threat to peace in eastern Mercopa, but a threat to peace in the entire world. She condemned the riots and police violence in Sordland, also expressing her worries about the direction Sordland is headed. She urged the Rumburgian army to secure the southern border, citing violent incidents in northern Sordland. Problem. Highway project is progressing very slowly. All right, that's going to wrap up episode number 13. Kind of a shorter episode, a little more direct in what we were doing. I decided to go with privatizing the education system, and I think that's going to have a positive effect on the funding for education and our budget overall. What we've got to look forward to is the meeting with our party leader about the constitutional reforms, which she is not happy about, so I'm sure you can imagine how well that is going to go. Anyway, if you like the episode, hit that like button. If you want to see President Rayne spar with his own party, hit the subscribe button. You can come along with us. Leave your thoughts, tips, and advice, and anything else you want to say about the game in the comment section below. And as always, J76NY saying thank you very much for watching and have yourself a very good day.